The CDD Analysis Center deployed observers to 17 politically charged and violence-prone battleground states for the elections. Our fake news tracking and analysis unit has continued the work of tracking and combating fake news and hate speech throughout the election period. For its part, our Election Analysis Center, composed of leading experts on elections and democracy, reconvened to cover the gubernatorial and state House of Assembly elections yesterday. We reconvened yesterday. This preliminary report covers the period from 7 a.m. to about 2 p.m. today, and is in two parts. Part one containing our observations on a number of developments during the election period, and two, our analysis of some matters arising from the elections. Our observations: arson and disruption of voting. Prior to the commencement of voting, our observers reported a number of incidents capable of disrupting voting in different parts of the country. In Benue, armed hoodlums razed down a Roman Catholic primary school in Aya. The school contained electoral materials meant for Umbulum ward in Goa East local government area of the state. But no election officials were hurt. Also, in the Manga 2 polling unit of Umbayaga registration area in Tarka local government area, which has 538 registered voters, a youth copper was taken hostage. In the registration area center at Yandev North in Boko local government, election officials were attacked twice. The number of registered voters affected by the disruption is 8,437. In Ebonyi State, thugs burned down 3 racks in Okusi in Hoha local government, destroying election materials. About 75 polling units and voting points were affected, and some 36,392 registered voters may have been disenfranchised as a result. This is extremely disturbing trend, and we call on all the relevant security agencies to ensure that appropriate steps are taken to prevent further incidents of violence that are likely to disrupt voting and consequently negatively impact the outcome of the elections. Observations 2, opening of polls. The general impression we gathered from the majority of observers is that most polling units in their states of deployment opened today as and when due. Election materials and personnel arrived on time in most of the states under consideration. This is, of course, in sharp contrast with the Presidential and National Assembly polls, during which late opening of polls was widespread. Third observation, use of smart cards. Reports from our observers indicate that the use of smart card readers has remained problematic in different parts of the country. Of the 3 functions the card readers are expected to undertake, namely authenticating, accrediting, and biometric capture, the challenge appears most common with the biometric capture. In some places where they deliberately refused to use the smart card readers, manual voting was reported by observers in locations like polling unit Kazawa Primary School polling unit in Kazawa ward of Kano Central Senatorial District, and in Ungwana Ganji Open Square ward in Rimi Gado of Kano North Senatorial District. Observation 4, deployment and welfare of ad hoc staff. Despite INEC's promise to improve the safety and welfare of corps members in these elections, the early hours of the election they witnessed protests by ad hoc staff who threatened not to carry out their duties until INEC cleared pending allowances. In Ward A3, Ajangbadi, Aganjo, Aka, local government area of Lagos State, for example, our observers reported a protest by some aggrieved ad hoc officials. We also received similar complaints in Bolade, RAC, in Oshodi local government area, and Ijoro Oloye RAC Center in Apapa local government area, both in Lagos State, and in Wards 5 and 7, Oyo Central, Oyo State. Our observers reported cases in which politicians offered ad hoc officials money at the racks. For example, in a rack in Ikosi Senior High School, Ikosi Ketu, Koshofe local government area in Lagos, a presiding officer alleged that politicians offered them 5,000 naira each, which they refused. The ad hoc staff turned down the offer, but instead demanded that they should be paid $40,000 naira, while some of them requested 20,000 naira. Observation 5, the security situation and electoral violence. The following incidences of violence on election day were reported by observers. Cases of killing were reported in Auhada West local government area of Rivers, and Undoni, Ogba, Egbema, Undoni local government area in Rivers also. Abduction of a youth copper in Etinan ward in Akwa Ibom State. Violent clash between party agents and INEC officials in Achida, Wuruno ward in Sokoto polling unit 003. In Oyo State, there were reported cases of voter intimidation in Ogbomoso South local government area of the state, where armed touts in Ward 4 polling units 5 and 6 and 7 were forcing voters to show their ballot papers after voting, an action that discouraged several voters from voting. In Imo State, there was open ballot stuffing at polling unit 010A and 010B at Umbutu Ward, Abombaisi local government area of the state, of Imo State. It is the polling unit of the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and governorship candidate of PDP in today's election, Emeka Edioha. Observation 6, vote trading. Vote buying remains a major concern during the governorship and state House of Assembly elections. But buying and selling of votes prevailed despite warning by INEC and security agencies and the anti-corruption agencies present. On ground, our observers reported seeing EFCC arresting people involved in vote buying in places like Benue and Kwara State, where some prominent party stalwarts were arrested. However, reports from observers indicate significant role played by voters and politicians in the vote trading market. The trend, as we observed, is that voters are bargaining for a higher amount to sell their vote to the party with the ability to meet their demands. In PU 011, Madobi Ward, in Madobi local government area of Kano State, votes traded for between 3,000 naira and 4,000 naira. In PU 02, Ward 4, Oke Balogun Ekpe local government area in Lagos State, party agents were seen writing down the names of voters who were expected to collect a paltry amount of 1,500 naira each. Another worrying trend observed was that supporters of mainstream party disguising as members of small party to buy votes for their parties. Also, we gathered that agents of smaller parties were influenced to buy votes for bigger parties. Now, the issues arising from these observations. 1, comportment of political leaders. In the course of today's elections, we observed cases of inappropriate behavior displayed at polling units by different political parties and their agents. At the Kofa Galadima Dawa polling unit in Katagun local government area of Bauchi State, for example, our observers described how the state's deputy governor, Audu Sule Katagun of APC, who arrived late and after casting his vote, displayed his ballot paper to the public before dropping it into the ballot box. Similarly, at Shia Majema polling unit in Bondiga LGA of Sokoto State, APC and PDP agents clashed over disagreement as to where the voting cubicle should be positioned. Issue 2, underage voting. Cases of underage voting were reported by observers in Kano Central and Kano South senatorial districts of Kano State. Third issue, arbitrary arrest, intimidation, and harassment of observers. One of our observers was arrested and harassed by overzealous military officers, A.S. Atunwa and R. Badamasi, on his way to Mile 2 area of Lagos to report a protest by INEC ad hoc staff over non-payment of their allowances. While embarking on his civic duty, on getting to a checkpoint along Ojo military barracks, he was stopped by the military personnel. Despite showing them INEC accreditation tags, he was strongly accused of being a party agent. He was subjected to unnecessary scrutiny and interrogation. The military personnel scanned through his phone and WhatsApp messages. He was later released after being delayed for more than 1 hour. So that is our preliminary report on the elections today. And again, we thank you for coming. I'll be happy to receive some comments or questions.